order to have accommodations at Universal, this could be a 6-month experience that you have to train for, as if you're training to take a standardized exam. I'm training to get my accommodations note at Universal. I've just got 10 more sessions to go till maybe I can get there. You can see all of the gatekeeping experiences here. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Universal Orlando. I'm here at Publix, but I wanted to kind of do a quick video in reference to what is going on with Universal Orlando and their IBCCES new requirement that is now replacing the before process of the attraction assistance pass, where you were just able to go over to guest services and gain assistance. As you guys know, I have quite a few videos already about this on my channel. As you guys know, I reported Universal Orlando to the DOJ, which is the Department of Justice, regarding what I believe is ADA violations regarding the new IBCCES process, because I do not believe that it is allowed or permitted under the ADA to require people with disabilities to prove their disability. You can disagree with me all you want, but the ADA clearly states that this is not allowed. I am very transparent that I did receive a response from the DOJ, not stating that this wasn't credible, but stating that they just don't have essentially the workforce to handle a situation like this, and they suggested reaching out to state representatives or hiring my own attorney, or getting the assistance of a disability rights attorney or civil rights attorney to look into this. You know, this is not a channel that deals with political issues, but many of you know right now that the DOJ is obviously very preoccupied right now when it comes to things that they are interested in involving the political arena right now. So to be quite honest, I don't think that the DOJ honestly right now probably cares enough about subjects like this. They're very hyper focused in on the current political atmosphere, and I don't want to get into those things right now on this channel, but you know right now where the DOJ's mind is and the different things that they're giving every ounce of effort towards. So I'm not really surprised that they would come back and say, we don't want to deal with this right now. But I do believe that what Universal Orlando is doing is against the ADA. I believe it violates people's rights. If someone cannot afford access to health care or has difficulty attaining health care to then prove their disability, obviously that is a gatekeeping experience. Then they would not have accessibility at Universal Orlando. For example, many people have stated it takes weeks to get approved, if you get approved. So that would mean in the interim that you wanted to just go to Universal Orlando spur of the moment, just woke up and went, you would have no accessibility if you went. Universal Orlando has told me in email, I asked them specifically, what happens if someone does not have documentation? They just show up. They told me very, very clearly, then you will not have accessibility at Universal Orlando. I said, well, what if someone can't afford it? You will not have accessibility at Universal Orlando. Some of you have made comments like, oh, let me play like devil's advocacy and say, well, if you can't afford documentation, how are you going to afford a trip to Universal Orlando? Someone doesn't even have to stay in a hotel to have accessibility. You could live in Orlando and drive in for the day and have one day at the park and want accessibility getting on a ride. I'll give you an example, as I mentioned in my previous video. If someone does not have a doctor and needs to go out and attain this documentation, I'll give you an example. If their disability is related to something psychological that causes a symptom, they would have to seek out a therapist. That could take over a month to get an appointment. If a therapist is just meeting you for the first time, there's no way in the world that they're going to put something in writing. They don't even know you. They've just met you. The first session is just to introduce yourself. It could take 10 plus sessions before a therapist feels that they have a handle on who you are and what your disability is. And that's if they're willing to put something in writing, and that's assuming you have insurance. Do you know how much doctors like that cost per session? It could be $250 a session out of pocket. Also, notes, for some reason, don't seem to fall under the guidelines of insurance. I know when I went, because I want to be clear, I have documentation, but when I went to my healthcare provider, for some reason, the note of accessibility that at the time I was requesting to take a standardized test for accommodations did not fall under my insurance, and this physician charged me a couple $100s for the note. So if you think about it, someone has to gain an appointment with a doctor, has to go to them for 10 plus sessions, pay all of that money, pay the money towards the note. So what are we saying? In order to have accommodations at Universal, this could be a 6-month experience that you have to train for, as if you're training to take a standardized exam. I'm training to get my accommodations note at Universal. I've just got 10 more sessions to go till maybe I can get there. You can see all of the gatekeeping experiences here. And I still believe what Universal Orlando is doing is wrong. These things take time. Something someone had said in one of my comments, they keep saying it, and it raises an eyebrow. I keep thinking this person, some of these people might be Universal employees. They could be, or they could be, like fanatic fans of Universal. They have made comments, these people. Universal would not do something, or they would not do something that they thought was violating a rule. It's like, do you know how many companies violate rules? Do you know how many companies get sued? Do you know how many companies get fined? I mean, this happens every day. I mean, you gotta be kidding. You're actually saying like, oh, a company wouldn't do something, and if they thought they were putting themselves in a vulnerable position. Do you know how many times companies get in trouble? Happens all the time. And for that matter, Universal is actually currently being sued regarding ADA violations. So this is nothing new. I still believe what Universal Orlando did was wrong and is wrong. And these things take time. And I'm dealing with a lot right now going on in my own personal life regarding my apartment, if you've been following that journey on this channel. So that's why I haven't made a video update on this situation since my last videos, in case you're following my videos. And these things take time, and you know what? I may need to reach out to a variety of attorneys that deal with disability rights or civil rights until I find the right one that has an interest in this type of case, and that takes time. So I don't want you guys to think that I've just like abandoned the subject. I still stand by feeling that what they are doing is wrong, Universal Orlando. In the interim, some of you have asked me, well, what do I do? In the interim, I would say go to Disney World, because right now Disney is not doing this. They have not at this time taken away your rights. Yes, I have had problematic incidents with the DAS pass at Disney World, but it has been nothing like what Universal Orlando has done. So my advice to everyone is to stay strong with these issues. I've also had people, and they write on my comments, you're not going to make a difference, no one's going to care what you have to say. Then I want you guys to stay strong. I wanted to clarify that I've been dealing with some personal things involving my apartment journey, and if you've been following my channel, you guys know that I've been dealing with a huge amount of stress with that. So I don't want you guys to think that I've abandoned this issue. It is something that's going to take time. It has to do with finding the right type of attorney that can deal with what are, civil rights issues. But what Universal Orlando is doing, as well as Universal Hollywood is doing, is wrong. Okay? You would say like, oh, companies don't do things that they know are wrong. The same way Universal Hollywood cut down all the trees on the sidewalks, so that way people didn't have shade when they were protesting with the SAG-AFTRA thing. It's like, or they just cut down the trees because the trees needed to be groomed. These things happen all the time. There was not necessarily intention that my channel was going to become this outlet for advocacy work. I know that I myself have faced a lot of obstacles in my life, and I always wanted an outlet where I could voice how I was feeling and project that. And so as I started to experience things that I viewed as injustices, I realized that this platform can be a good place to share my thoughts, and a place where you guys can share your voice as well. And then it puts issues out there onto a platform for others to see and hopefully gain change in the world. So yeah, when I originally started this channel, I was kind of all over the place, fashion, this, that, and I realized after I came up with the idea Nicole Approves, that it was kind of my approval of things, that sometimes I approve and sometimes I don't, was the catch line. And then I realized that I think that this has become something bigger. Yes, of course, you'll see on this channel just a general video of me going out and having fun, me going and reviewing a hotel or a resort or a theme park, which is in a sense the positive side of Nicole Approves. I go somewhere and I approve of the experience. I had a great time, but I'm also not shy to share my opinion. and show things that I don't approve of. That obviously, when you put yourself out there and you start to say, I don't approve of things, that comes with backlash, and I am not afraid of that backlash. I feel that it is extremely important in life to be a voice for others, especially when people can't speak for themselves, or maybe when people are disadvantaged, and I'm not going to let others take advantage of me or others. I'm going to project my voice and share my opinion, and I hope that inspires you to do the same. So thank you so much for watching Nicole Approves. I have Patreon and YouTube channel memberships that has exclusive content that are different on each of those platforms, YouTube channel memberships and Patreon. So if you're interested, please check out that, and I will see you soon in my next video, and bye.